I'm going to look back at what actually motivated me to start volunteering a few years ago, because I've said it quite a lot to various people. I never really considered myself a student volunteer. I happened to be a student that happened to volunteer. So first of all, I'm going to look back to when I was about 13, and this was when my first 2 volunteering opportunities came along. I was lucky enough to grow up in Rutland, which has the largest man-made reservoir in Europe, and I was able to start sailing. One day I looked across at the pontoon and I saw people in wheelchairs trying to getting into these boats, and I thought, for goodness sake, I've just been knocked into the water and nearly drowned. How is it that people in wheelchairs can get into the boats as well? So I kind of went along, and then I stuck with it. I volunteered once a week until I was 18 and saw like the real impact that I could have on my local community. And then also in the same year, when I was 13, nearly got hit by a car, and so decided that I got quite angry about it, and so I wrote to my local community and local council and lobbied for a pedestrian crossing, which then got me into Rutland County Council. And so my local volunteering experiences were very much kind of around the political, obviously, apart from Rutland Sustainability. So through the Rutland County Council, I heard about Millennium Volunteers. Then through Millennium Volunteers, I heard about the Russell Commission, which later turned into the National Youth Volunteering Charity V. I was on the first Youth Advisory Board, V20. And this was at the point where actually I really became into volunteering, and then I think is when I became into volunteering. I think a better way to describe it is actually becoming a volunteer geek, and actually being really passionate about helping other people getting into volunteering. And so I think from that's actually what inspired to do my PhD, but I won't talk about that partly because I haven't had time to focus on it for the last 4 months. And then I started volunteering more recently for the Institute of Volunteering Research and Volunteering England. And through them I heard about the National Council, National Coordinating Centre for Public Engagement, sorry. And I really felt that actually it was time to get back on the advisory boards and start really working with people to try and develop volunteering and trying to kind of encourage people to do it and create diversity. Throughout university, sorry if this doesn't make any sense to you, my volunteering experience doesn't make a lot of sense to me because it's all kind of jumbled around. But at university, I was a student rep. I did lots of things within the student union. I was president and chairman of PhilSoc and the Philosophy Society, and the Lithopractic Society, respectively. And I'm still chairman of the Lithopractic Society. And I actually kind of started to think that maybe I'd kind of gone too nationally, and I'd kind of lost my roots in community volunteering. So kind of looked at how actually through LOPSOC, the Lithopractic Society, we could kind of engage with the community. And so I managed to get somebody elected onto the committee that was, we call them the Public Engagement Officer, which sounds incredibly boring, and I'm sure we'll change it at the next AGM. But we've gone into schools and we've gone into residential homes, trying to kind of spread the love of opera, which I don't know whether we're inflicting on the community rather than kind of doing it. And then also, along with a fellow PhD student, I've decided to kind of create this a larger volunteering opportunity for students that are really interested in citizenship. We've got a citizenship day starting on the 17th of March, and hopefully that will lead to a more kind of citizen mentor program. It's all very kind of in the developing stages, although the actual days are coming together quite nicely. So bringing this kind of all together, and why student volunteering? I heard somebody at the Nitty Gritty Committee, which is for the Impact Conference on the 5th of March, somebody saying that as a student is his or her own resource, his or her own venue, access to academics. I mean, this is our only time in our lives that we have had. We've got such opportunity, and as I said, such access to resources. The Citizenship Day I could not do without the help of the brilliant academics, 10 of them, who are going to give presentations. I also think that we're really enthusiastic. We haven't quite been trodden down by life yet, so we think there's lots of things that we could achieve.